game. Jalen Hurts, of course, the former Alabama quarterback, now playing for Oklahoma due to the transfer portal. Joe Burrow also took the benefit of transferring, and he's won the Heisman and many other awards. His eyes set, though, on a national championship. Hello, gentlemen.
What's up,
Laura? See everybody.
Y'all have a good Christmas, guys?
Really good.
Awesome.
Yes, we're all glad to be back together. Greg McElroy here, the coach, Gene Chizik, Tim Tebow, Marcus Spears. And guys, I want to announce to everyone as the Tiger Band comes in and they're waving at us, we appreciate you guys, that Marcus Spears is an honorary captain today.
Yes.
Which means
I like it.
Yes.
for LSU, which means you have to flip a coin.
He's nervous.
He's very nervous. You want to, I thought maybe we should practice
how's that thumb
a little
work?
bit.
I'm actually trying to throw it out of the top of the stadium.
Okay, well, show
Let's
us.
go.
I don't see it. Where is it?
It's gone.
Tails.
It's gone.
It's over there on the.
I think it was tails.
I don't
It
know
was
what they
tails.
were thinking.
Were you going for
involving me in
tails?
that.
Oh, you can keep the corner. Yeah, you
got it, big man.
Good,
Okay.
good quarter there. I've got another one later if you want to practice again. You just
I
let
want
me
that
know.
quarterback. Oh, we got it. Okay.
Okay. Greg, initial thoughts about this game before we really dive in.
Well, it feels like a shorter time frame than it usually is between when we last saw these teams on Championship Saturday to where we're at now. So how much have they improved from where they were then to where they're at now? Because that was a big reason why Clemson was ultimately the national champion last year, was that massive improvement from their final game of the regular season to the semifinal game and, of course, eventually the national championship. So it might be limited in regards to those improvements. There hasn't been as much time between the two games.
I'm going to say defense, guys.
Yeah.
This game is coming down to the defenses, and you noted the
I get why he would
limited
pick that.
amount of
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Big
it's a
surprise.
shocker, right?
Shocker.
Come on, Coach.
But 3 weeks right now to put together a plan to stop both of these quarterbacks, you're looking at these dynamic quarterbacks and these dynamic offenses, and let's be honest, they're going to score points. It's just a matter of which defense gives up the fewest, and that's going to determine the outcome of the game.
I know we'll get into the game plans in a little bit. I just got to tell you what I'm excited about is these two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so different, but the one thing that they both have in common is their heart and their poise and their leadership, and they're probably the two best in the country at those three traits. That's what I'm so excited to see.
How fast does it become just another football game? Like the team, I want to see what team settles in quickly. Who has the confidence after the initial first kickoff and everybody flying around and the defense is hyped up because they might stop the offense from making a first down or something like that. Who settles in and turns this into game plan execution and being better than the other team?
And it's been an incredible season to watch. They brought in Joe Burrow, of course. He transferred from Ohio State. And Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, coming over from the Saints, bringing that NFL offense to Baton Rouge, working with Steve Ensminger up there in the booth and really being able to have a team mentality there with that. Of course, that top 10 win in Austin against Texas. It was a big moment. LSU at that point started to solidify themselves as a team that we needed to be looking out for this season, and it was a huge environment on the road. A back and forth battle with Florida happened after that, and that's a game that LSU felt like a lot of teams started to model their defense after what Florida did against them in this game. It was a good matchup back and forth. LSU ends up winning it. And then they go to Auburn. They hold off Auburn in that one. Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator for LSU, actually said that this was his favorite game of the entire year. He was upset that they ended up allowing those 20 points, but still defeating number 9 Auburn. It was just one top 10 win after another for these LSU Tigers. They snapped, of course, that 8-game losing streak against Alabama. This game, it was called a game of a century, game of the decade, whatever you want to call it. Either way, LSU won in Tuscaloosa, and that stamped not only what they had done for this season, but it also solidified Ed Orgeron as one of the best coaches in the country at this point. And then the SEC championship game that happened right here behind us on this field in Atlanta. They were able to get that win over Georgia, a Georgia team, very disciplined. Kirby Smart, of course, a great game planner, but it didn't matter because LSU hoisted that championship trophy as the victors. All right, it's been a historic season in Baton Rouge. Let's get to some numbers here. The Tigers broke the SEC record with 5,029 passing yards. LSU has averaged 47.8 points per game. That's second most in SEC history, behind this year's Alabama squad. And the Tigers have trailed for just 84 plays. Only Clemson has trailed for fewer in FBS this season. Either way, it's finally time to play this game. Wait a little while to head over here today. Coach O said he didn't want the guys just sitting around over here for no reason. Took their time. Oklahoma's already been here for a while, but here come the buses. They got that good police escort. That's what you need around these parts. Let's tell you some stories to watch in this game. And the biggest one on the LSU side is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Will the running back be healthy? He hasn't practiced all week long, dealing with that hamstring injury. And Coach O has said maybe we'll see him. You wonder if we do, how healthy is he? How much can he play? They certainly have plans in place for that, and we will dive into that just a little bit later. It's no secret. He's been crucial to this LSU offense, a great security blanket for Joe Burrow and everything that he's been able to do offensively. And then on the Oklahoma side, they've got some guys out in this one. They've had 3 suspended players, of course. Ronnie Perkins being the headliner there. He's their defensive end. That's their sacks leader, a huge part of their ability to get to the quarterback. And then Delaren Turner-Yell, who is not suspended but has an injury to his collarbone. He'll be replaced in this game as well, and he's a guy that's played in every single game this year. So the defense for the Sooners definitely without some of their key players. Those are some of my storylines. I've talked too much already. What's your storyline?
A little bit of news. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will play limited role, though.
Wait. So you're getting that from LSU, yes. And he will play?
Let me get to my storyline. Okay. Jalen Hurts, you have to contain him. Look, this is Oklahoma's calling card will be to let Jalen Hurts be the star of this game. And LSU has a great task in getting him stopped on the ground. He makes so many plays just after non-improv, like just getting out of the pocket, rolling right, rolling left, attracting the attention of the secondary. Those guys unhook to their guys, and he goes downfield. So that is the most important thing for LSU's defense, who we've seen at times have real struggles trying to stop quarterbacks that are very mobile and can run the ball down the field. So it'll be interesting to see how Dave Aranda attacks Jalen Hurts.
And on the flip side, if Oklahoma wants to have a chance in this game, they got to slow down Joe Burrow. And I think that comes with the front 7 of Oklahoma putting pressure. They're going to stunt, they're going to slant, but they got to create havoc. They got to move Joe Burrow off of the spot. They got to fluster him. And I think that's going to be Gallimore, Stokes, Benito, even Kenneth Murray putting his hand down and getting pressure, because he's pretty good at that. But it has to come from getting Joe Burrow uncomfortable and creating havoc.
Yeah, to me, you want to stop this team, yes, it's Jalen Hurts first. Guess who it's next? You got to stop CeeDee Lamb. The charge for Dave Aranda is going to be simple. Do I put a guy over him so that I can double him? Are my corners, which, oh, by the way, I've got 2 first-round corners in Christian Bolden and Derek Stingley. I've got 2 guys that can cover up this guy, but I can't always use a safety over the top, because this guy, you got to stop the run, too.
The biggest advantage right now for LSU is their wide receiver core working against a slightly undersized defensive back group of the Oklahoma Sooners. Of the top 5 defensive backs for Oklahoma, 4 out of those 5 are 5'10" or shorter. When you look at the other side, the length of the LSU wide receivers and the talent and depth is a significant advantage.
Guys, this is crazy. LSU and Oklahoma have had the 2 most explosive offenses in FBS this season. Over the course of 13 games, the Tigers have gained 1 more yard than the Sooners. Literally 1 more yard. I think that's incredible when you look at how these teams will match up. I want to follow up really quickly on something that Marcus said before we got into our storylines. He's mentioning that you're hearing that Clyde Edwards-Helaire will play in a limited role.
In a limited role, has been begging and pleading to let him play in this game in a limited role. They want to see how the hamstring does early on in this game, and then see if they can add more snaps, but he will play.
What does that make you guys think when you hear that we'll see him at least in some way?
Well, I want to see what level he can contribute. How good is he? How effective is he? How quick? You know, one of the things about Clyde is he's so good in space, and he's so good breaking tackles. If he can't do either one of those things effectively, then he's not going to be really helping his team too much. So in warm-ups and preparing, I really want to be able to study how quick he's able to cut in his power.
Here's what I will say, though, where he could provide value is in pass protection.
Absolutely.
Because he doesn't have to sprint. He doesn't have to, you have to sit in there and hunker down, pick up blitzes. Maybe they're blitzing, then maybe they're not. But that's where he could provide value.
And he's a decoy. Put him out there getting 5 receiver sets. Put him out at the end and just stand him there like you do a quarterback in Wildcat. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to do anything. But when you see 22 on the field in your Oklahoma's defense, I got to account for that guy. So his impact can be felt even if he doesn't touch the football, run any routes, or have any carries.
Right, and we should see him, we expect to at least, suited up out here during warm-ups. Of course, we'll be showing you live pictures of that leading up to the game, so you'll get to see him warming up. That'll be interesting to me, too, how much they try to do with him in warm-ups, because you know Oklahoma's going to be watching that.
We know, like at this point, here's the psychological part of it. It's 2 games left in the season. What are we sacrificing him for if we think he can go? And this is really based upon, look, first of all, this training staff does a tremendous job listening to players, but they also make decisions based on their history and knowledge of an injury. And I'm sure that I wouldn't be hearing those things if Clyde didn't look well in those individual drills and the things that they put you through. We've all seen or had hamstrings. They are very tricky, but the only way you find out is if you push them a little bit to see how much you can go.
And I think it's a really good point, Marcus. I think that's one of the things with the hamstring is it can be feeling good, and I can look quick and I can be running a little bit, but that one chance when I get an open field and then I really burst and try to run away from someone, that's when I might pull up. And if it goes again and they win this game, he could be out for the national championship. Right.